I want to tell you a little bit about him as a human being. When my brothers and I were 10 years old, we were hired by Carter's Warehouse to put seals, tags, on the top of seed peanut bags. They did 100-pound bags of burlap, and the federal government would get a ticket that said what the germination was and the farm material, and then you climb on top of the bags and you put those tickets on 100 bags. We got paid a dime 100. But if the little husk on the peanut, the pink thing on the little outside of it is cracked, the peanut will not come up. So it's a perfect job for 10-year-olds. And we began to learn there the value of hard work, the value of trusting your neighbors. Most of the people that worked at the warehouse were African American. Our neighbors, the closest one to us, were African American, and they're the ones I spent my Saturdays with. They were my age. We had a wonderful snow sled we brought with us from Connecticut when we came back, and we carved a trail down the side of the canyon across the street from our house. And then we cut a vine off, so if you could go down this thing, and when you got to the bottom, if you actually grabbed the vine, you could swing out over the briars and come back without getting hurt. And then you could use the rope to crawl to the top and then pull the sled behind you.
This was on mud.
On mud, yes. When I was in the 8th grade, I failed. I brought home at Christmas an F in Latin. I didn't see any reason to learn Latin. Nobody I knew spoke it very much. My father was not pleased. And so the next morning, he came into my room and said, we were on Christmas vacation. He said, you have your Latin book? I said, yes. He said, let me have it. He went to work at Carter's Warehouse. And when he came home that night, we spent an hour and a half him teaching me Latin that he had learned from my book that day. He did that every day of Christmas vacation. And the first day of the school year after Christmas, I went to my teacher and asked her if she'd let me take the final over again that she had given us, the midterm test. And she said yes. So after school that day, I took that test, and I made 100. I owed it to my father, who spent that kind of time with me. He was the Boy Scout leader in our town. One day we were trying to get our merit badges in hiking, and so we took a 6-mile hike to our pond on one of the farms, about 20 of us in the Boy Scouts. We had a great time. We had hot dogs and marshmallows and whatever, and had the big fire going. And at the end of all that, Dad started telling ghost stories. And one particularly bad one at the end was very gross. He claimed it happened on our farm. And so he told us to all go to bed. Well, we were just sitting there not knowing what to do. And after a little while, we decided that we would use the buddy system to go into the woods to use the bathroom after dark, so that we could all get some relief before we went to sleep, because we were sure that we were going to be attacked when we got there.